All right, let's talk about a really cool piece of the AWS puzzle for handling streaming data, Kinesis Data Firehose. We're going to break down what it does, and just as important, what makes it so different from its cousin, Kinesis Data Streams.
So think about it. Your apps, your website clickstreams, your IoT gadgets, they're just spewing out data nonstop, 24/7. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose, right? So the big question for pretty much everyone is, how in the world do you actually handle all of that data without just getting completely buried? And that's where AWS Kinesis Data Firehose comes in. Its whole reason for existing is to be the absolute simplest pipeline for that flood of data. You just got to remember these three words: capture, transform, and load. That's its entire job. Grab the stream and get it where it needs to go so you can actually analyze it.
Now, what's the big deal here? Well, two things: fully managed and auto-scaling. And what that really means for you is you do basically nothing. There are no servers to manage, nothing to provision. You just point your data at Firehose, and it automatically scales up or down to handle whatever you throw at it. A tiny trickle, a massive flood, it doesn't care. It just works. And get this, it's fast, like really fast. We're talking near real time here. Your data lands where it needs to be, ready for you to use, typically in under a minute. That is absolutely critical when you need to make quick decisions based on the freshest data you can get your hands on.
Okay, this is super important, because to really get Firehose, you need to understand what it isn't. You see where it says key limitations? Well, those aren't bugs, they're features. There are no shards to manage, which is a huge headache you get to avoid. It has no data retention because its job is to be a pipeline, not a warehouse. And you don't need to build custom apps to fetch the data, because Firehose pushes it right to its destination. It's all about direct delivery.
All right, now this is where things get really cool, this optional transformation step. You can have Firehose trigger an AWS Lambda function to mess with the data while it's in flight. It's like having a little data cleaning robot right in the middle of your pipeline. You can convert JSON to something more efficient like Parquet, add extra info to your records, or just filter out stuff you don't need, so your data arrives at the end all shiny and ready to go.
So, where is all this cleaned up data headed? Well, Firehose gives you some prime destinations. You can dump it into Amazon S3 to build out a data lake. You can pipe it straight into Amazon Redshift for your big data warehousing and BI tools, or you can stream it into Amazon OpenSearch for amazing real-time log analytics.
So you can start to see how this all comes together, right? Whether you're feeding a massive data lake, pulling all your server logs into one central place to make sense of them, or grabbing data from thousands of smart devices out in the field, Firehose is really the perfect tool for building that reliable pipeline. Okay, let's get to the big one, the question that everyone asks and the thing that trips so many people up. What is the difference between Kinesis Data Firehose and Kinesis Data Streams? They sound almost the same, but trust me, they do very different jobs.
Let's break it down like this. Think of Kinesis Data Streams as a temporary storage buffer. It captures and holds onto data for up to a week, letting multiple different custom apps connect and process that same data whenever they want. Firehose, on the other hand, is a pure delivery service. It grabs the data, maybe transforms it, and then immediately loads it into one specific destination. It's a pipeline, not a holding pen.
Look, if you walk away with just one thing today, let it be this. This is the exam cram, the need to know, the whole shebang. Kinesis Data Streams, capture and store for custom consumers to pull from. Kinesis Data Firehose, capture, transform, and load. It pushes the data to a destination. Getting that difference is everything, and it's how you'll always know which tool to reach for.